Welcome back to Fireside Frith, a hearth for Norse pagans and the curious alike. I'm Susanna, Wandering Star, a kindred leader and local Githia, here to share stories, wisdom, and real talk about living our path today. Whether you're a longtime heathen or just curious about Norse spirituality, you are in the right place. If you want to dive deeper, check out www.theosatruecommunity.com for resources, classes, and community spaces. Or join the conversation on our public Facebook group by searching for the Osatru Community Inc. Now, today's episode is going to be a little different because it has been almost a month or it has been a month. I don't know. It's been about a month since I last talked to you guys. And I need to give you guys some updates because I know that last one was like a cliffhanger. Like, oh, we're going to talk about the Yule monsters. And then life got crazy. It's not me making excuses. I just want to be transparent with you all. Before we close the hearth on season 1, I just wanted to take a little time to reflect on this past year, on what we've built together, and where Fireside Frith podcast is heading next. Now, this won't be a long episode, but it is a very intentional and transparent one because I feel like though our community is very small, this podcast has done some positive things in people's life, and I'm really glad. And I've made new friends because of it. And I really want to be clear why the pause happened and why the end of the year, it just kind of makes sense, you know? So anyway, we'll start with a little bit of housekeeping. Since there wasn't an episode released in December, that was kind of an accident, but it wasn't burnout. It was just the reality of the season. And since this was my first year doing the podcast, I learned for sure when my busy seasons are. So December was a very full month. I perform at Renaissance festivals, and we also held our kindred's Yule ritual. Between travel, preparation, and community responsibilities, that accounted for about 3 weeks where I couldn't realistically keep up with the podcast on my own. Also, my husband came back from his 9-month military work trip, so I got to spend some time with him, and it was really hard to not take that time to spend with my family because we'd been separated for long enough that we had developed different habits. You know, I got my ADHD medication under control, or I guess I got used to it. There was a lot of things that happened while he was away, and we were kind of getting used to being around each other again and how to be in close proximity to another person, because I had been living pretty much by myself the whole time he was gone, except for, you know, the cats and the dogs. And I am super glad he's back. I don't want people to get the wrong idea there. And he's been super helpful with helping me keep myself organized. And it's been quite a journey and quite a busy holiday season. That being said, Fireside Frith is very much a solo project. I handle all the scripting, the research, recording, editing, the sound work, social media, promotion, and scheduling. And that's not just scheduling automatic posting to make the podcast live. It's like scheduling time to devote to research and recording and editing, promoting. It's a lot, but it's a labor of love, and I really do love doing it. Another fun new thing is that the format is going to shift very slightly, but it will largely stay aligned with the tone and the structure of what you've heard throughout season 1. I'll also be bringing on a guest host in season 2 to help divide the workload, and they are my apprentice in the kindred, so they're very knowledgeable, and they always have an immense amount of insight for everything we discuss at discussion group, which discussion group, it usually coincides with the podcast episodes. So it's basically, instead of a podcast episode, it is the same topic, except we're talking with like 10 people in this area right here, this classroom looking thing behind me, which is also where I do all my crafting for my business. So like I wear many hats, my craft room also wears many hats. So the cool thing about having a guest co-host, I say guest, we'll see how it goes, and we'll make it permanent or not. We'll see. The reason is because they offer a different voice, a different perspective, and lived experience for you, our listeners. I'm really excited about this, but I can't share more details than I've already given for now. So that's it for the housekeeping. Moving on to kind of a review of the year. One of the things I wanted to share is what our listeners, what you have responded to the most. According to our Spotify Wrapped, episode 1 is still our most listened to episode, which makes me laugh because it still comes up in conversation with the guests. It involved trying thorrablót food, like traditional Icelandic food. We had fermented shark, we had lamb something, and blood pudding. It was a funny episode because I nearly expelled my stomach on screen, and apparently you guys really like that kind of chaos. So if you want more episodes where we try weird food, or if that's something that you guys really find entertaining, I will try more weird food. Just let me know in the comments if you want to do that. I have learned, though, when trying fermented shark, it's probably a good idea to just have the windows open already before we open the fermented shark, because I was not prepared for that. My flavor palette is not advanced enough to have that on the regular. Let me know if you guys want more chaotic episodes like that. Following our episode 1, thorrablót, our top episodes were, actually, let me pull it up. Doody doody doody, doo doody doo doo. I am clicking. Bloop, I got to go down to episode. All right. Following that one, our top episodes were Faith and Service, Norse Pagan Leadership in the Military, Disting, The Wild Hunt, and Sigurblót. So 3 of those 5 are holiday-themed episodes, which tells me something important. You enjoy seasonal practice, myth tied to the turning of the year, and spirituality that lives in time, not just theory. Lucky for you, we will be doing more holiday episodes this upcoming season. I don't think we're going to try more thorrablót food in January, but there are some holidays that are either Norse adjacent or modern Norse holidays that weren't practiced by our ancient Norse pagan folks, but they are practiced by some pagans in the modern day. There will be more holiday episodes, and we will go over ideas for your personal practice, for small groups, for mixed faith groups, and for large groups. And that is something you can always count on with our holiday-themed episodes, because not everybody is around other heathens, and sometimes you gotta build your kindred out of nothing. I always find Norse pagans. They are out there. We are out there. Sometimes you gotta be the one that steps up and organize the group, and I want to make sure I continue offering ideas and support for those who are solo practitioners and for those who would like to build a community. That being said, the leadership episode got a second place for most listened to episode, which makes me curious. More episodes focused on leadership within pagan and heathen communities. Let me know in the comments, because we can start doing some leadership focused episodes. And I'm not going to say that's every episode, but maybe we could do like every 4th episode or something like that. Depending on the response from you, our audience, I will cater season 2 a little bit to you guys and a little bit to what I want to talk about, because I do have a list. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see my list. I have 3 pages of my tentative podcast episode guide, and I did this because I need to record all of the busy season stuff when I'm not super busy. That way, we can be more prepared for this coming year. That being said, on a personal level, this podcast has stretched me in ways I did not expect. The more I write the scripts and speak and edit these episodes, the more intentional not only my talking, but my ritual voice has become. Listening back to myself in my frustrating, annoying voice has really helped me cut out filler words, slow down, and speak with more clarity. I've noticed that benefit or result has been showing up in my discussion groups and my kindred events as well. So that's exciting to get better with words. I do my best. I'm especially proud of the episodes on Sather and crafting as a sacred practice. Those topics are my bread and butter. for my path. And I somehow managed to make them approachable without oversimplifying them. And it really means a lot to me that I do that, because we just did the end of the year review for my Kindred discussion group. I asked everybody a series of questions that helped us talk about... Shit, I lost my train of thought. It's all gone. Whoops. I don't know what I was going to say, but anyway, I remember where I was going. At the review, I asked them all kinds of questions like, what built Frith in your life from these groups? What strained it? Why do you keep coming back? Questions like that. Something that challenged your faith this year, It has all these questions to kind of like build up to this end of the year thing. And someone asked me, well, why do you keep doing this? And I was kind of shocked because I didn't think about me answering the question. But what I said is I'm just happy to be the pagan auntie that I never had. I never had somebody to coach me or guide me. It was just a lot of book reading, which is a lot of us just figure it out. But it's really nice when you have someone you can talk to about things who isn't gonna judge you or tell you that there's only one way to do it, because there's only one way, then that's a cult, not a leader. Well, cult leader is the thing. But anyway, yeah, and it really is important to me to make sure there's education out there that's accessible, because not everybody likes to read or not everybody can read. I'm not saying that they can or can't, but it doesn't stick with them the same way. I know with me with ADHD, before I was medicated, I would read the same thing over and over and over, and it just wouldn't get through to my head. And it's like, I could read out loud, I could pass tests, but it was because of how I studied. It wasn't because of how I read, because I had to study things in a way that was ADHD friendly. I don't need to go into that. This isn't a homeschool podcast, but I was homeschooled, so a lot of it was up to me to figure out. And being a homeschooled child, where I had to figure out a bunch of stuff, and then becoming an adult and not knowing as much about people skills and social stuff, I had to just figure it out. And I'm kind of sick of just figuring it out, even though I know that that is what you do as a leader. You just figure it out. And now I'm comfortable with figuring it out. However, if I could make the next generation of, I don't want to say all pagans, but like people I know, pagans I know, or pagans that listen to our podcast, if I can make their lives a little easier, to help them grow or give them suggestions, so maybe it can lighten the burden of just figuring it out. I think that is a beautiful thing. It takes somebody who's willing to say, what is UPG, what is from the lore, just a very clear boundary of that, and then you can figure it out from there, like what works for you. But it's like, where do I start? The phrase ancestor veneration. So many people are like, what does that even mean? I'm over here with books, articles, classes, all sorts of things I've done to learn. And I'm like, I could give my knowledge to other people in a 30 to 45 minute podcast episode. It's less intimidating because you can listen to that. There's no commitment to reading. There's no commitment to buying a book. The podcast is free. And you can just listen to it on your way to work or during a workout or whatever else you do, house chores. It's a very low cost, and I don't mean cost as in money, but cost as in effort. You don't have to purchase anything. You just listen, and then you can hopefully get something from it and learn something from it. And then that can encourage you if it's something that you spend 30 to 45 minutes with me talking about a topic, and then you're like, okay, I actually am less intimidated by that topic, and now I want to go get a book on it. And that's when you can leave a comment like, hey, you have any book recommendations for this topic or what have you? Honestly, that is what I want to build, and that is the magical part of being a podcast host on this particular subject. That is why I do this, and I didn't know that that's why I did this, but that is. And it brings me joy to help others in that way. That being said, in season 2, I'd really like to dive deeper into some topics that we have talked about, because 30 to 45 minutes isn't enough for Sather or for crafting as a sacred practice. We could definitely dive deeper. There's so many topics that I want to do, and If you guys have any suggestions, leave them in the comments. It's okay. I read all of your comments. I try to reply to all of them. It's helpful to me when you guys comment on the things that I know that I'm not doing this for no reason. I will really do want to dive deeper into like the magical stuff, but I just want to make sure the community's ready for it and you don't think I'm crazy. One of the biggest challenges this year has really just been being a solo independent podcaster and figuring out where help is needed versus where it can actually help me. My kindred has been incredibly supportive and inspired by this project. They're actively trying to lighten my workload where they can so that I can have more time for the podcast and other things. So we're still learning how that looks in practice, but we're getting there. My husband really wants to help, but I told him, we run a business together and you're active duty. When are you going to have time to help me with the podcast? And he's like, well, what's the hardest thing for you right now? And I was like, well, the hardest thing for me is the social media thing. And he's like, oh, rather than doom scrolling, I can just do that for you. I was like, okay. So if the voice changes a little bit on our Instagram post, that is why. Because my husband wants to help with the Instagram and Facebook part of the podcast. And that's really helpful to me because I'll write a script and then I'll record it. And then while I'm editing is when I work on also getting the pictures. And then by the time I get all the pictures I want for the episode and I've spent a million hours editing, I forget to do the social media part. Having just one volunteer just to do the Instagram is so helpful to me. So that's another thing. Looking forward to season 2. He's going to help with that. And I know people in my kindred want to take over doing the discussion group here. I like working together like that as where our goal is all the same. Why not work together and double down on the workload? So that's exciting. I am so grateful to everyone who has emailed, commented, or reached out about the podcast because almost every interaction has been kind, thoughtful, encouraging, and it means so much to me, more than you could ever know, because I do think that this podcast aligns with my purpose. So I'm glad that it's helping a few of you. All right, that brings us to looking ahead. What does season 2 look like? So season 2 will begin airing mid-January. Looking at my calendar right now. This episode will come out Friday the 9th. And so I'm hoping that within 2 to 3 weeks, we will have our regularly scheduled episodes out. I'll give you guys exact dates on the social media when I figure that out. And part of it is I have a few meetings. And like I said, I want to build up a couple backlog episodes for the busy season. I'll be recording 2 episodes a recording session just to double down and make sure we don't have hiccups, like I said before. We'll also be adding a new segment where me or my guest host will draw a rune at random and offer it as a weekly focus. It's also entirely up to chance as a way to close each episode with reflection rather than instruction, which is something I've already been doing, but usually I ask some sort of question that makes you think or helps you ponder things. But I think instead of that, doing the rune will be cool because it may have something to do with the episode, it may not. And it's completely random. So there's that. With a guest joining, we'll also be bringing in deeper conversations because it's not just going to be me. I know I've already mentioned this. I don't think I can say how excited I am enough to have a guest host on the podcast because it helps me not just have a conversation with myself. Fireside Frith doesn't feel like a fireside chat if it's just me. It feels more Fireside Frithy to have someone else there to banter, to go back and forth on topics, to offer a perspective that I may not have thought of. That's something to look forward to. And the goal for season 2 is simple. More depth, more lived practice, and fewer interruptions. Thank you for sitting with me by the fire this season. Whether you've been here since episode 1 or found your way here somewhere along the path, I am so grateful that you are part of this weave. As we come to an end of tonight's episode, I want to pause on something that connects everything we've talked about: power, voice, and responsibility. In the lore, power doesn't belong only to kings or warriors. It lives in those who speak truth, hold the stories, who push events forward, not with force, but with intention. And it lives in communities that gather to decide how they will live, how they will judge, and how they will move forward. What stands out to me is this: no one in the lore is powerful alone. Even the gods are bound by oath, law, and fate. And that's a reminder that heathenry has never been about individual greatness. It's about frith, accountability, and shared memory. Over the past year, we've done exactly that. We've gathered, we've learned, disagreed, grown, and shown up for one another. We've kept the stories alive, not as relics, but as living tools, ways to understand ourselves in the world we're navigating now. As we move into the next year, I want us to think like those before us did. What are the stories we are shaping? What oaths are we making to each other and to ourselves? And what kind of community do we want to stand in when we gather again? The gods may shape the horizon, but we decide how we walk it together. Thank you for being a part of this year, this space, and this work. Until next time, may your hearth be warm, your words intentional, and your threads be tended with care. This has been Fireside Frith, where the flame never dies.